stories. But first, remember you can send in messages with your observations and comments on the stories. Send it through WhatsApp to the number 0809 4440981. That is 0809 4440981. You can also send messages through Twitter at Smooth981FM. Use that hashtag LockerRoom981. In his first game back in San Antonio since the Spurs traded him to the Toronto Raptors last summer, Leonard and the Raptors were routed 125 to 107 in a game that was even less competitive than the final score indicated. Raptors coach Nick Nurse said, "I do not think we handled this one very well. We did not play well at all defensively," he said. Leonard said. The Spurs did a great job pushing the pace and kicking out for wide open shots. Leonard went with 21 points on 8 for 13 shooting to go with 5 assists, was loudly booed as soon as he stepped onto the court for pre-game warm-ups. Again, during introductions and at any point throughout the game when he had the ball in his hands. He said he was not surprised or disappointed by the reception he received and blamed the media for the way the fans reacted. Probably, he said, when I asked if he expected to be booed, but I embraced it and I enjoyed the moment and it's only going to make me better.
Oh, story. Okay, so let's paint a picture here.
Okay.
Now, the San Antonio Spurs had Kawhi Leonard, and then, he looked like a guy they were going to build their team around. Then last season, this dude decided that he wanted to leave. It wasn't that he wanted to. He didn't leave well, which is part of the problem. There was the injury. Then he now claimed he was misdiagnosed,
yes,
which is why he wasn't playing. But he'd say he's misdiagnosed, and all of a sudden he's doing something else that he shouldn't be healthy enough to doing. So to be doing. And so San Antonio Spurs fans just, they said it really. If you really wanted to leave, he could have left without all the drama.
Yes.
And so he left San Antonio Spurs and went to Toronto Raptors. Now, on the other hand, Toronto Raptors had this combo, Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. And one morning, DeMar DeRozan was very happy that he had a family in Raptors, and he was traded. Like, there was no hint.
Wow.
It was shocking. He was traded to the San Antonio Spurs. So they had, on one hand, a guy that the fans were chanting traitor for.
Yes.
In San Antonio Spurs. And on the other hand, the guy that was rejected.
That was betrayed.
By Toronto Raptors. So it just set the tone. Of course, the media was going to go wild with that kind of thing. And so during the game, at every point, from the minute the fans saw Kawhi, they were going to boo. Then there were times when he'd go to the free throw line to go and take his shot, and they'd be shouting, "Traitor, traitor!" I kid you not. They put so bad. His mom was in the crowd. And then they were put so bad, and the mom picked a fight with the fan on the other side. I was like, "Lady, just be quiet. Don't talk." It's a fight you will always lose.
Yes.
So you should have known your son was going to get that. Just plug your ears. Or don't come at all.
Or just act like
just enjoy the game.
No, there's no way to enjoy it because they're actually abusing. Don't come. There's no way to enjoy it. And then to make matters worse, they get on court and Kawhi loses with Toronto Raptors. You can imagine the blood on the dance floor. Everybody was just coming for him. But it was a good game. The San Antonio Spurs completely blitzed out the Toronto Raptors, and truth be told, that scoreline didn't really say, the result didn't really say exactly how bad the beating was. In the 9 minutes of the game, San Antonio Spurs had to chill. We've already won. There's no need to push, and that's where Raptors got a few more points. But it was a great game. So you can imagine if you had DeMar DeRozan and you get your first triple-double ever in the NBA on the team that they sold you to. You just walking past the Raptors GM. No, just walk with a smile past the Toronto Raptors GM. Like, you traded me for good. But it was a good game.
Awesome.
Okay, let's talk about the NFF. It seems to be trouble in the NFF. Our former chairman of Gombe Football Association, Ahmed Shuaibu Gara Gombe, has resigned from the recently inaugurated Nigerian Football Federation. That's the NFF Reform Committee. Now it says, and the quote here says, "The body is too populated with people I'm convinced are not supposed to be in the committee. I had issues with the utterances of 2 members of the committee on the day of our inauguration, and Sheo Diko's remark that he included me in the body was most annoying. I gave him some days to retract the statements, and he never did." He further says, I'm always ready to serve the country in any capacity but the environment created is not conducive for proper work to be done.
Egos again. That's all I can say. Egos are clashing. Some people, I guess, I looked at the committee and really, no strange names. A few journalists, on the list. A few people that have been in football. A lot of state FA chairmen or sports commissioners there. Nothing dramatic. So for him to come in and say, if people are not supposed to be, are you supposed to be on the board? This one, yeah. Look, what it is they had a reform committee. You're supposed to go there and put some new rules and help the NFF build. But your ego cannot seem to handle that somebody made a statement, and so you resigned. But you are claiming that you're ready to serve your country. My guy, please.
What is the criteria to be on this
Please,
board?
please, you should sit in the corner. There's no criteria. If you know how to reform, they put you there.
Oh wow.
It's not like you pass one exam. you write jam, you pass. They put you in the reform committee. Okay. They just look at you and say, okay, this person has been in sports, in football. He's developed that, or he's been the chairman of da. Yes. So he has a resume.
Yes.
In football, so let's put him there.
There's no track record.
There's no extra exam, so I don't know why he's complaining. He was just upset that they said that they put him there. He didn't want to feel like he was given the job. He wanted to feel like he earned it.
So I read the minister is back in the news. The upgrade and revamping of some sports facilities in the country will be the priority of the Ministry of Youth and Sports this year, is what they said in the new year. The minister, Barrister Solomon Dalong, gave the hint while speaking on prospects of the Ministry of Youth and Sports in 2019. He said, and I quote, "Infrastructural update should be cardinal in 2019. We must fix the National Stadium in Surulere, Lagos." Good morning. If we fix the place, you cannot imagine the number of young people that will be employed as a result, and it will improve the economy of the state. I have not given up on the renovation of the National Stadium because we are still running a concession process. We only have some budgetary constraints, but we have included the final phase in the budget of 2019. Once this budget is passed, we'll pick up again, because for me, one of the things that I'm determined to do before I leave office is to ensure the conclusion of the concession of some of these projects, so that I can move the private sector to invest and transform it.
You didn't do that in 4 years. It's now that there's election year, when people have collected their PVC, that you want to build it. It's today, we need infrastructure. Please, this is a new year. I don't want to pick up with any more drama. Solomon Dalong, you've served your term.
Welcome.
Hopefully, we will not see you in the next 4 years. Hopefully, you'll be gone.
But Tega, whatever happens with the Lagos state government renovating the...
Did you hear what it's called? National Stadium.
Okay.
So that there are some. So have you seen Teslimba logo? It's well managed. It is state.
That is state. This one's
National Stadium belongs to federal government.
Focus.
It's like federal road. So it's today, 2019, when we want to vote, that you remember to vote to Russia. We have seen your one. Go. Bye bye.
Okay, let's talk about some tennis stories. Federer says beating Tsitsipas was like playing my son. I don't know if this is a low jab or... Anyways, the story says Roger Federer said beating Greek youngster Stefanos Tsitsipas in Thursday's Hoffman Cup clash felt like a win over his son, but the joke may well serve as a reminder of his powers as the Swiss prepares to defend his Australian Open crown this month. A quote here says, "He could be my son, 20 times major winner." Federer joked about the age between him and Tsitsipas before praising the world number 15.
Yeah, so this was first of all, Roger Federer has a few young guys that he calls to practice with. So sometimes he takes them to where he is in Dubai, and they go there to practice. For me, if I'm a young player and Roger Federer calls me to practice, I just steal everything I know, every knowledge I can get. And it's obvious that Tsitsipas actually got some knowledge, because he had practiced with Roger Federer. He'd made so much noise about it, then he gets on court and he pushes Roger Federer to the limit. Roger Federer is 17 years older than this guy, but thank you. Roger Federer looked like he could run for days, and Tsitsipas looked like he was almost dead at the end of because think about it, he pushed him every time to the tiebreak. I think it was a tiebreakers that Tsitsipas needs to tweak a little bit. Yes. But he's one of those rising stars in tennis. Won the next gen ATP finals in Milan last year.
Okay.
Looks like he's going to have a better 2019. World number 15 right now. The way he rose up was so quick. And so all this, sometimes he needs to set up against all these big names to be able to see how far you've gone. So Tsitsipas sets up against Roger Federer, pushed him to the limit, but unfortunately he lost. Greece is now out of the Hopman Cup. So congratulations to Roger, 17 years older. You still beat them, and now you get to play in the finals.
The question to think about while we go on this break is, who's your daddy?
Yeah, exactly.
And this is you're listening to Sports Stories here on the Locker Room, and it's brought to you by Smooth 98.1. You know, I was gonna say verb, and I remember, oh shit, this is a great vibe. Oh my gosh.
I was just looking at you like, what is he about to say?
I was not going to say to
Brought to you by.
you. What's it brought to you by?
You can't find especially by verb by force.
You pay me, Sonia.
I swear, Sonia does it. Well, can I see you after the show?
You collected money now. Just for the different for a road program.
Life does not have to be so hard. Supporting your kids with school essentials all year round is easy and affordable.
Oh, Valentine, that was you. Oh, Valentine, oh, that was you. That's what you do.
I want me to call you out.
That's what you do. Heidi, send me the person's
What?
handle.
I'll find it. My name is Kemi Olawi. Just look for that online first.
Alright, that's a good one.
Awesome, but you didn't post any picture for us to see.
You can't miss her.
I had a great vacation, but can you imagine? I got sick in the plane, and I even lost my luggage in the process.
You got sick on.
Remember that my travel insurance policy I told you about? It came
The
through for me.
network is spreading bad.
Paid, and I finally got compensation for my lost luggage. Yes, sir.
This girl is so cute. That's what I need to use. I'm sure this girl can speak Igbo. I'm so certain she can speak Igbo. Igbo children know they laugh like that.
Alright guys, now let me tell you how my typical day works. In the morning, the first thing I do is turn on my radio, hit the buttons on my stereo because it's
In
the
fact,
first thing
I
I
need
turn on to
to
kickstart
find
my
out
day.
if she can speak Igbo. I'm so certain she can.
And instantly I'm plugged into my own world of music and life. Yes, like jazz, soul, to R&B. This radio of mine, it is my morning tea of news.
My radio understands my peculiarities. It takes me on a journey.
Alright, we're back in. Mics are up, studio's live. It's just about 8:30 here on Smooth 98.1. You're listening to The Locker Room, and we'll bring you the latest in sports stories. And Tega is here to give us all the latest analysis on that. And I will have messages here on the WhatsApp. George from Ajash sent in this one. It says, "Good morning, Tega. Thank God Kawhi Leonard was booed, and the Raptors did not come out with a win. Greg Popovich can coach just anybody, and again, DeMar DeRozan responsible for the Raptors' decline, pun intended." All right, so we got your message. Thank you very much. Mobi Victor from Alaba International said, "This Minister of Sports, Solomon Dalong, does not deserve to return to that seat. He cannot deceive me with all this campaign about the National Stadium. Did he think he's talking to secondary school students?" Adeg Solomon Dalong, Packwell, Jerry. Wow, people are not kind on this one. She said, "Tega, I'm the happiest person on earth. My fasting for Liverpool's loss not in vain, John. Aguero, you are a thunder. Silva, you be fire. Mr. Dalong, please just resign, I beg. You don't read for you like a cup. Wow." Let's go back to the stories now. So Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp believes that Vincent Kompany should have been sent off in Liverpool's 2-1 defeat, 2-1 win to defeat Manchester City on Thursday for a challenge that could have ended Mohamed Salah's season. He told Sky Sports this. He says, and I quote, "I really like Vincent Kompany, but how on earth is that not a red card? He is the last man and he goes in. If he hits Mo Moore, he's out for a reason. For the season," he says. "It's not easy for the ref and he may not see it how I see it. Everybody knows that I like him." That's talking about Kompany. "He's such a fantastic player, outstanding. I loved him when he was at Hamburg. But But situations like this happen. The player makes a decision, goes on the ground, makes a sliding tackle, and wants to defend the situation. He took the risk, and if Mo stays on his feet and does not jump over him, then the situation is different. We all know that. He's still a nice guy with a really bad decision.
Firstly, Jurgen Klopp, I said this day will come. I remember when Liverpool took on Napoli.
He did not listen.
And Van Dijk almost ended Dries Mertens' career. That tackle was even worse than this.
No.
Klopp did not see it, though.
No.
He wasn't there. He said that he would look at it again and see how it was. But if the referee determined that it was yellow, it was yellow. Now you've seen red card. Today that it is your own player, you've seen red card, and all the Liverpool fans are shouting. It's today you've seen red card. You will collect it. What goes around come around. The season is long, but you know, two things happen there. For me, I would not give Company a red card. He got the ball. Yes, it was I think I would call it because it was a reckless tackle, not dangerous. Like he didn't go in start showing, he's leading, which meant that you could catch the player. So even if he did get the ball and he caught the player, yellow card for me, perfect. Not like Van Dijk, that was straight red and even some jail time. But this was yellow. Barring that, I don't think I saw Mo Salah as often as I wanted to see him. And sometimes, because he's so lethal, you play him through the center and then you put Firmino, who is the center forward, to play from the wings. It works sometimes, but some games where the chances are few and far between, it doesn't do well. I like to see Mo Salah run at defenders. I like to see Mo Salah coming from the right hand side and get into the 18-yard box and get chances. I didn't see enough of Mo Salah. He didn't do enough on the night for me to say, okay, it was a good game, but they just lost. So I think maybe switching their positions would have helped Liverpool a little bit more. Having said that, especially in the beginning of a sort of match where everybody was cagey and Manchester City looked nervous. But having said that, Manchester City did the job they needed to do. When they had chances, they scored. Apart from Ryan Sterling, that one I don't know how to help him. He does need a second touch. But I mean, a few people they did the work they're supposed to do. Aguero did the job he was supposed to do. The best players for me were Bernardo Silva and Fernandinho. Those were the best players. Fernandinho was breaking up every single play attack that Liverpool had, and then he was starting off the Man City own. Bernardo Silva was everywhere on the pitch, which is why I prefer him in the center of the midfield as opposed to the wings. So those two players were fantastic for them, and Manchester City got the desired result. Most importantly for the neutrals, the lead at the top now in the EPL is just down to 4 points. So anything can happen. It's still very open. What could have happened yesterday if Man City lost? It could have been 10. Season over. Liverpool would be league winners in waiting.
Wow.
But Manchester City winning just gives the neutrals like us more opportunity to enjoy the Premier
All the
League.
Liverpool fans.
They say that if you are top on Christmas Day, 9 out of 10 times you will win. So
I said,
does that mean that Liverpool have a better chance?
They also said that when Liverpool was top too. We all know that they didn't win the league.
Liverpool fans were probably people cheering at Arsenal fans when they were experiencing the downtime.
I think everybody in the world was waiting. Manchester United fans, Arsenal fans, Chelsea fans, they're waiting for Liverpool to lose.
That's right. It was crazy.
It was crazy.
Toby Ademola on WhatsApp sent in this message. Says, "Good morning, great guys in the studio. Jurgen Klopp made a mistake by substituting Sadio Mane, but still with Liverpool to win the league. Although I'm a Chelsea fan, mischievous smile up there." And Agumbia Dero and Lukaku said that Lukaku is social. Rondon still dreaming of Lindelof. Remember when they compare Iheanacho to Rashford?
Yeah, those are the good times.
Let's go on.
Okay, so let's talk about Santi Cazorla punishing Real Madrid. Now, Santi Cazorla scored twice as Villarreal fought back to take a point in a chaotic 2-2 draw against a lackluster Real Madrid. Now, Cazorla scored the opener for Villarreal after just 4 minutes with a curling first-time strike, but Real Madrid responded with a goal of their own 3 minutes later as Benzema headed in from close range. Now, Madrid then took control of the first half and went deservedly ahead when Rafael Varane sent a powerful header past the stranded Sergio Asenjo on 20 minutes. However, Cazorla scored a late second half leveler to ensure Villarreal escaped with a point that takes them out of relegation zone and leaves Madrid 7 points behind league leaders Barcelona.
Sad one. Like I said, you don't count. You know how you see, I have an extra game in hand so I can catch up. It's not guaranteed until you play. And so Real Madrid had that game in hand because they went to the FIFA Club World Cup and they came back to play the game against Villarreal. And look, Real Madrid had chance upon chance in between from the time they went 2-1 up towards the time Villarreal equalized. For some reason, they just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net, and at the end of the day, Villarreal punished them. It's a tough season for Real Madrid. It's been a tough season for Real Madrid. It's been a tough period for Real Madrid in the La Liga. See, it's just tough. With Cristiano Ronaldo, they still struggle to win the La Liga. They're more European champions than local champions. Then you sell Cristiano Ronaldo, and those goals that used to come in, it's not the number of goals. I think it's the timing of the goals.
Yes.
Because Cristiano Ronaldo just knew how to pop up when they needed 3 points. And they don't have that X factor anymore. They have a traditional striker in Benzema that can be a lot laid back. So he's not really trying to get more goals, and he's not even looking for any records to beat. So I mean, Benzema doesn't have any excess ambitions. Just if he's there, he will score. If he's not, he will not score. And so they don't have that X factor or that guy that drives and says, "I'm going to do all." And that's part of the problem for them.
Wasn't that supposed to be Gareth Bale?
Gareth Bale has never been that kind of guy. Why would people think that?
No, because Gareth Bale,
Gareth Bale
when
wanted
Ronaldo left, Gareth Bale looked to be the guy that
No.
would take over
Gareth Bale just wanted more playing time. Didn't mean that he had more ambition. He just wanted more playing time. That's it, and he has it now. So all is right in his world, but all is not right in Real Madrid's world. 7 points behind the league leaders. In between them, there's still Sevilla and Atletico Madrid. So they're really just hanging on by thread to that top 4. It's not a good place for them to be.
It's interesting that you mentioned top 4 because Pochettino thinks that if he won that instead of, if he won 2 cups or 1 cups instead of top 4, he would have been sacked.
Hey.
Now, Mauricio Pochettino believes that he would have been sacked by now if he had delivered domestic cups at Tottenham instead of top 4 finishes. And he says his ambition is to win the Premier League and Champions League with the club. In his words, Pochettino said, if it's only the objective to win the Carabao Cup and be in the middle of the table in the Premier League, I think today we are not talking about how we are talking here. We wouldn't have been saying this. I think I would have been sacked a few years ago, for sure, with 2 or 3 Carabao Cups or FA Cups. If we do not finish how we finished in the last 3 seasons, we'll win the FA Cup. I do not know if Daniel Levy, who's the chairman, would have too much patience with me or is very nice and says, okay, you're 10th in the Premier League, I keep you and even give you a new contract. I don't believe that.
Okay, so first thing, he's saying this because of the FA Cup that's coming up this weekend. His team is also in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup, which is where he faces Chelsea. But he's saying that 4th position as well, top 4 finish is a trophy.
Yes.
I remember when Wenger said this thing. Look, Wenger just Wenger is just sitting in the corner smiling. Yesterday, nobody could hold on to Invincible Run, and people were saying that Invincible Run was nothing, but they couldn't go all season unbeaten like he did.
Right.
And today, now, the thing he said is now top 4 finish is a trophy. So Pochettino is telling me that it is better to finish in top 4 than to win a trophy. Guy, you cannot disrespect what you haven't conquered. Win FA Cup first,
and
then brag. Do you understand? Win a trophy first, and then talk about. Don't come and brag about what you have not achieved. It's people that see. My mother used to say, poverty is what makes a man says, "I will leave my raffia roof. I cannot. I don't want to buy a zinc roof because it's hot. It's because they don't have money to buy a zinc roof. That's why they're talking. That's what I'm saying is my poverty."
I like that analogy. On that note, we'll take a break here. I'll be back to reading your messages on WhatsApp 0809 444 0981. You're listening to The Locker Room on Smooth 98.1. Messages.
We're going to read all the
to
messages.
10.
Yeah,
a lot of that.
just keep reading the messages. So, Kaide, get ready. If you read one, you read one.
Yes,
so that
well,
it's not tiring. I don't think we should take the last story, so no consequence. Chelsea drew. Let's move on.
He says he wants to win the Champions League. It's not well.
You've not won Carabao Cup.
With what team does
You've not won Carabao
He's
Cup.
aiming high.
He's aiming high. It's high. I shouldn't win a cup first. Poverty.
Finally becomes a beating one. But I felt for them, and they really tried. They really didn't want to lose.
That's what the problem was. They really didn't want to lose. They didn't go there to win. It's two different things. I don't want to lose, and I want to win. The approach is different.
Tried to draw would have sufficed. No, a draw wouldn't have been.
No, a draw would have
points.
sufficed. A draw would have sufficed.
5 points.
A draw would have sufficed. A draw would have left them at the same gap. A draw would have left them at the same gap with Man City. But 4 points is great for me. If not, I'll just stop watching. I'll just stop watching Premier League. I don't have time for all the league. I'm back.
Go back now.
Okay. People should read all your messages.
Come think of it. Tega, you're the only one that doesn't have this Lagos thing. This is my Lagos thing.
I don't.
You don't?
I don't even live in Lagos. Me, I'm from Asaba.
Alright, studio, we're back. Mics are up. So that has got me hungry now. But it's breakfast time in Lagos. We're still talking sports inside the locker room with Tega Tiger here. And we're taking your messages on WhatsApp. Now we have this one from Sly. Sly says, Auntie Tega, now that Man City has beaten Liverpool, hope there'll be world peace now. So now, who is going to stop Liverpool? With these 4 points, Liverpool will win the league.
Okay.
Let's see. Big E from K2 says, so the unbeaten one has finally become the beaten one. This is what I told you all. Klopp will flop. Expect more beating from Liverpool. Man City did the job. Minister DeLong should retire into the jungle where he loves. Wow.
Dressing like Tarzan. Muiwa says, Sleepke, he jumped, he launched in. And then we have this message here from Chooks from Ijegu says, I wish the game ended in a draw, but I'm still happy that City won because they're the lower evil and I prefer them to win the title. Man U for life, he added.
This one says from Polari, hello guys, tackle is a red card, both feet on the ground. That's the rule, Tega.
Excuse me. I'm so glad that the referee agrees with me. With a red card, it's a lunge, it's a this. How many touch did he touch it? Van Dijk. Yes. Every time a Liverpool fan complains about this thing, I'll just remind them of Van Dijk. Talk again, Van Dijk.
Bengals says that defeat yesterday should have come as early as November when Liverpool played Man City, but no thanks to the profligate Mahrez who missed the penalty in that match. It's good that City redeemed themselves yesterday with that victory.
This one says, Tega, your analysis of other sports makes us want to switch from following football to these other sports, and this is Amaka. Good fan here.
Yes, big one. And Joe sent in this one and said, Tega, go and watch that in a bag. Company's legs were off the ground. Very reckless tackle and a red card. Tega, please, no comments. Thank you.
You'll be alright. Van Dijk.
And then we have this other message from Mario says, we're still the only invisibles in the EPL. Bam. Happy New Year, guys. Okay. We know the fans. We know the fans by their messages. Emma from Akoka sent this one. It says, I can't imagine Guardiola's pep talk to his team in the locker room before this game. He probably sounded like King Leonidas in 300. This is where we win. This is where they lose. Citizens, where is your profession? So people were fans in our North London yesterday. Biko, is it your Invisibles or your 49 unbeaten? Rolling eyes. Wow, thank you so very much, guys. And that is the last message we'll read. Maybe we can. No, we can't squeeze in this one. We're out of time, Lagos. Thank you so very much for listening to The Locker Room today. Do well to follow Tega at Tega Supreme on social media so you can ask all the questions you have, especially about other sports that you probably want to delve into. She might just give you some guidance there. And if you want updates about sports, especially how ladies are involved, please follow at LIS International. Coming up next for a Feel Good Friday, Lagos, we'll have a very interesting conversation for you today.
Definitely.
Yes, and that's at 9. Good morning.
Red card, the car. People come and collect red card.